I did want to go back to a comment because you and I talked off the air whether we would even address this, and we were kind of on the side of not addressing it. But hey, we got a comment on it, so I'm going to address it. So I got to find the comment because it's way back here. Okay. So Orville Nation, PJ, which by the way, thanks for showing up on the show. I don't know if you're still out there, but he commented in the chat, FYI at BaseGod14. That's me. They are saying on Twitter that Gina Carano just got fired from Lucasfilm, but not sure this is real. So the question becomes, right? Is this breaking news or is this just another stupid rumor? And, I don't claim any inside knowledge. Dave and I talked off the air about really not getting into this because there's so much controversy behind this. But hey, you guys bring it up, we're going to address it, right? The people have spoken. So I'm just going to say I did get to see the link that PJ sent me, and I'm not familiar with this particular source of information. So let me share it because I know you have not seen it, Dave.
Well, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at one on my phone. I've got a report here from Hollywood Reporter.
This is the one that PJ sent me specifically. It's a Jermaine Lucier. He's entertainment reporter for Gizmodo and IO9. Those are pretty reputable sources, actually, right? Yeah, and it's saying that she is no longer part of Star Wars. Man, if that's true, I'm pissed off. If that's true, I'm really pissed off. I'm just going to say that. I'm pissed off.
Well, they're running it on Hollywood Reporter as if it's real deal. They're saying that Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. It says Lucasfilm said in a statement. It says Gina Carano will not be returning to The Mandalorian of the Star Wars galaxy after sharing a post on social media. Well, I'm going to leave that out. This
is bullshit. I'm not saying it. This is bullshit. If this is true, this is complete horseshit. I'm just saying it. That's my reaction. And again, we talked about, Dave and I talked about not even going here. And by the way, when Dave and I were talking about it, because this story is evolving so quickly, we were just talking about the fact that Fire Gina Carano was trending on Twitter. In fact, I was debating whether to use that in my tweet to get some more attention for the show. And ultimately, we decided not to do that. But now the story apparently has evolved. And if this is true, I'm pretty upset.
Yeah. Huh.
This isn't right.
All right. Yeah.
I really feel like this is not right because it seems like one side can say whatever they want and the other side can't say anything. And that's not right. And I'll tell you what I was telling Dave on the air. To be completely honest with you folks, I don't care whether these people agree with me or not. Ultimately, the way that I try to conduct myself, I do comment on political posts sometimes with my account, but I don't do any political posts on my account because my stuff is basically for the show and for Bad Bob Productions. And I do not want to alienate half my audience. Okay. So, and that goes regardless of whether they're on my side or against me or whatever. What frustrates me though, is that's my personal philosophy. Okay. But what frustrates me though, is it feels like, again, one side can say whatever they want and they don't care about alienating half the audience and they get away with it all the time. But then if the other side says something, they're fired. Cancel culture. You know what I mean? That's what frustrates the heck out of me. It's just not right, in my opinion.
Yeah, because kind of the point of Retro Rogues Live was to talk about fun things and to not really be political. We intentionally avoid overly political stuff here on the show. Partly because number one, that every time you touch on anything political, you get suppressed. We already feel like we're being normally suppressed on any given day anyway, because it feels like
just because we live stream. I think because we live stream, we get suppressed because they don't know what we're going to say, even though we're not a political show. Yeah, and sometimes I wonder if it's part of the problem is because I do comment, you know what I mean, on political tweets and things like that. Again, I don't do my own. I don't retweet political content, but I'll make comments. you know?
Right.
And
well, I politically speaking, and I've always said this, and it's still true. I've always been probably socially more liberal, and then fiscally, more conservative. I've always been that way. That's just the way I've always been. But as far as this goes, I had enjoyed Gina Carano in The Mandalorian. I enjoyed her character. I have enjoyed watching her ever since she was in Haywire. I thought she was a fun, dynamic, and entertaining actress. So I am saddened to hear that she's been, removed from The Mandalorian, because I was hoping to see more of her character of Cara Dune. As far as her tweets go, to be honest with you, everyone out there in the audience, I honestly, I have been off of Twitter for a very long time. Eric knows this. I left a lot of social media a little while ago because I have nothing to contribute. I have nothing to contribute to half the conversations anyway.
Well, it's the toxicity, right? It's the toxic comments, right?
And it's frustrating from a promotional standpoint too, because I'll post, for example, I'll post something I'm really proud of that I worked on back in the day, or I'll put up a really nice piece of art, and it feels like that no one ever sees anything, no one ever says anything. It just felt like there's certain parts of the internet where there's no reason for me to be there anymore. So I, in all honesty, had left Twitter a very long time ago, between number one, just the comments, and then number two, the fact that I feel like I'm just, throwing things into a well in an abandoned part of town that no one goes to anymore. So what's the friggin' point?
That's
right?
A great analogy. That's a great analogy.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And at some point, you just go, you know what? If I kept all that change in my pocket, I might be able to go buy a Coke or something, right? Or a coffee. So I'm going to go buy a coffee instead. So I gave up on Twitter a long time ago. So I haven't seen these posts. I don't know what she has or hasn't been posting. She has or hasn't been sharing. All I'm commenting on is the fact that I enjoyed her in The Mandalorian. I have enjoyed watching her again ever since I saw her in Haywire. And it's unfortunate. But maybe she'll show up in someone else's project down the road. I can think of another sci-fi project she'd probably be perfect for. And Eric knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be absolutely freaking awesome.
But yeah,
hey, there's always opportunity in these things, right? And the people that are successful in life are the people that actually find opportunity in crisis. That's very true. And Gap Stargate, we really appreciate you, because this is the first time you've been on the show and you've been so vocal. And he says, I don't care which way you guys think. You're all awesome. We really appreciate that, Gap Stargate. That's a very kind, nice comment. I know this is the first time that you've actually checked our show out, and I appreciate it. I can tell you very much that that kind of positivity, because let's face it, bad behavior is rewarded in what I call anti-social media. That's just the way it is. A bad behavior is rewarded, unless you're on the quote unquote wrong side, right? Then it becomes cancel culture. That's what I just hate about it. It's just so one-sided. And again, I'll go back and I'll say, even if I agree, let's say, with a lot of what Gina Carano says, I don't necessarily think maybe she should be as vocal as she is. The problem is, I don't see the other side abiding by that rule. That's just my rule, right? Because again, I don't want to alienate half my audience. I don't want you to not go see Staycation because of some political affiliation. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely effing ridiculous. And I know Dave does not want people to not, read Red Skirts because of a political affiliation. We want this for everybody, right? That's the idea. We want everybody to check out our stuff. We don't care what your political party is.
Yeah, and I've always tried to be careful about, what I say, what I share, what I comment on, because again, I'm not on social media to sway the world, to my particular point of view, whatever that point of view is. The irony, though, is
nobody's being swayed. Everybody's just speaking in an echo chamber, right?
Yeah.
I don't care what side you're on. Everybody just gets polarized and goes into the little echo chamber anyway. So I get, in my mind, I'm like, what's even the point? What you think you're swaying anybody? You're not. You know what I mean? Everybody's kind of polarized in their little group or whatever, their little clique as it is, And Gap Stargate says it well. It says, I'm on the side of great comic books, great movies, and great sci-fi. I'm on that side too, Gap.
Yeah, that's where I like to find myself as well. And You know, and hopefully that's one of the things that we talk about here on the show. The other thing Eric and I talked about too, about not wanting to cover this topic, is because we want this to be an escape, right?
Right.
You know, to get away from whatever else is going on in the real world and talk about silly, fun things, you know, that, you know, are just that. They're just pure escapism. You know, that's what I, you know, love and enjoy about comic books. That's what I like about movies and television shows and books and all these other things. I like being lost in a fantasy world, you know, where anything can happen and it's fun and it's magical, you know, and good triumphs over evil and all that kind of fun stuff. Like, that's what I personally enjoy.